All right. So Dina, you were talking just a little while ago about how important it was that you be given permission to write badly.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
Do you want to talk about that?
So for myself, in this process as a student, but also for my students, I think a lot of us, and certainly I know I'll speak for me, one of the biggest challenges to this whole experience has been learning how to write, and learning how to give myself permission to write, and learning how to appreciate what it is that I am capable of doing. And so there's been a few sort of strategies, for lack of a better word, that I've developed along the way. One of them, again, Sean already mentioned earlier, is about, setting up time to write, and whatever time it is that you have for yourself, maybe it's only 15 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes, to sit there and write whatever it is that you can think to write about. So if you are stuck and you're not feeling like you can write about your dissertation, write about the cup of coffee you're holding in your hand, or the person sitting beside you, or the last class you had, or the last student that's in your head, or the book you've just read. Giving yourself permission to, as Shauna just said, write badly. So don't feel that you need to write anything that sounds any good at all, or reads well at all, or needs to be checked at all. Don't correct, don't edit, just giving yourself permission to, again, write even if it's really badly. And for me, one of the things that I've encouraged in me and in my students is to not believe that you need to write in complete sentences. So just write, and when that thought ends, start another one, and you don't need to have any periods or any punctuation or anything, and there needs to be no relationship between one thought and the next thought on the paper. I also have found for me that sitting upstairs at my desk in my office is a lot more stifling than it is sitting on my couch in my family room. So I often will just take my laptop and sit on my couch in my family room. But lots of people like Natalie Goldberg and Julia Cameron talk about, finding a cafe or a comfy writing place. And that's worked for me as well. But I find for myself just finding a place again that's comfortable, because that is a big piece of what it's about. And then finding people that will support you, whether it's your professors or a classmate or a confidant or a colleague, somebody that will help you champion your own abilities when you're doubting them is super important.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can just talk a little bit about I think for every single student I've worked with who've chosen this pathway, it was not their first choice. Like, they'd started off, they had different ideas, you had different ideas
Action research project was what I was going to do, yeah.
So, and they come to it realizing that such a significant part of what they want to say and explore is actually who they are, and why they do what they do as an educator or practitioner. And so it's kind of like going sideways. There's a path, there's a kind of crossroads that you talk about, and I think Virginia Rago talks a lot about that. I think I remember particularly having a meeting with her and the committee, and there was a moment in which her energy shifted when she was talking about her research, and I was going, oh, right, so why don't you, and I think we just started by saying, why don't you just write out that bit of story there, like there was an experience you had, just write that story down, because it was there's a bit of light that showed up, and sometimes this process can feel very kind of restrictive and rather dark. So she started to do that, and she had a committee that was very supportive of this. I think we realized as she started to go in this direction, suddenly something was released. There was a smoothness or an ease of and a clarity to the pathway. And so I think the supervisor you have and your committee members are important people. Mm-hmm. And this is a relatively unknown methodology in some academic circles, although it's certainly well regarded. It's strongly established. But I think you do need to have, in particular, a supervisor who will support you in this. And if they haven't had a lot of experience, then do some of, they can still be supportive and do some of their own explorations, talk to others who've done this. So there will be people, I think, faculty that are not comfortable with this. So it's just not useful to push, if you are finding that this is a possibility. So I think the other thing I should say too is that this approach isn't for everybody, right? And it's not for all kind of themes or kind of issues that you would want to explore and unpack. So so I think that's the one message I think is really important, is this is a possibility. It's one of the options that students might consider that just was not on their radar at the beginning. And then if you decide to go down this pathway, to really actually get some good support, both friends and family, but also I think your committee and supervisor,